summer, into the fall, it's going to push us into the next year. It's always tough to pass a trade agreement. It's almost impossible to pass one during a presidential election year. Keep in mind, this is a victory for President Trump, but it's really a victory for everyone. But politics trumps everything. Sorry for the turn of phrase there. Politics is everything during an election year.
Kent Backus, National Cattlemen's Beef Association Senior Director, Government Affairs. This is the RFD Livestock Report. Hey, good day to you. Welcome to RFD Illinois. I'm Rita Frazier.
I'm DeLoss Yankee. Hello there.
Hello.
Well, how about Friday?
Yeah. We thought it was just going to be all weather.
Right. And then in the morning, USDA comes out with news that they have opened even more markets for U.S. beef into Japan.
Huge.
9-figure, $200 million worth of, and they've been fighting that stuff since 2003. So
right.
Finally getting those markets open. That was good. And then in the afternoon, and this is a statement from Illinois Farm Bureau President Rich Giebert, the U.S., Canada, and Mexico ending tariffs on imports of Canadian and Mexican steel and aluminum. He says, quote, while there's a lot more work to do, this big win for U.S. agriculture creates even more incentive for Farm Bureau to work hard over the coming months with the administration and our congressional allies to ratify USMCA and lock in the additional market opportunities and economic benefits this important trade deal offers, unquote. That was big news Friday afternoon.
Huge. And we'll see how the market reacts throughout this week. Of course, everybody looking to today's reports also to figure in to the whole
right. Last week on corn, they were off by 5. They thought it'd be 35% plan, turned out to be 30, and that helped really move things, and be quite curious to see what happens this afternoon.
Well, we'll take this news. This is a huge deal.
Yeah, it was really good. Friday, that was a really good news.
So you've got Corner Economist. I've got Tony Dunker. We'll try to make sense of all those numbers and how they affect you on this edition of RFD Illinois.
With this week's edition of Farm Week, the early word, here's DeLoss Yankee.
The last 12 months, from May 2018 through April, proved to be the wettest year-long period in U.S. history. Rainfall totaled more than 36 inches, thus accounting for the prolonged spring planting delay. Find out more about the weather impact on planting in this week's edition of Farm Week. Continued wet field conditions have also caused a dilemma for farmers who grow cover crops, which have reached waist-high or taller. Turn to Farm Week for advice on dealing with growthy cover crops prior to planting.
No other Farm Weekly in Illinois has as many people on the ground in Illinois covering Illinois agriculture for you with the depth on key issues to help keep you profitable. And don't forget, you can get daily or even more frequent updates online anytime at farmweeknow.com.
We're back here on RFD Illinois. I'm Rita Frazier. We talked about the big trade news of last Friday with Tony Dunker, Advanced Trading. Quincy?
Boy, it's a relief to see some good news start to roll in. I mean, to start off the day, we saw some really good news coming out of Japan with them lifting restrictions on beef. And that's something we've been waiting on for a long time. Now, if we can just get the tariff that is also still, placed on beef as it goes into Japan, lifted as well as we proceed ahead with those negotiations with Japan directly. I think that's a real plus. And then later in the day, seeing the really great news that the president is making progress with the United States, Mexico, and Canada on the steel tariffs there. I think that's a very important part of the equation when it comes especially to the pork side of the equation.
Now, what kind of numbers are you hearing should we expect? When we talk about that Japanese market for beef, let's go back there. What kind of potential is there?
I think it's very stellar potential, just because they like the products of beef that we have to provide. It's just that they haven't been taking them for many years. And so I guess I've seen a few numbers thrown around already. The important thing is, when you look at what has happened in the cattle complex this week, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we are certainly searching for some good news. And today, to see the rebound that we had in feeder cattle and live cattle most of the day, that was a plus. Now, I would like to see a lot more added to it, just because I think long-term demand with Japan on beef products is very promising.
Back then to the other encouraging news towards the end of the day, the agreement between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico to end tariffs on imports of Canadian and Mexican steel and aluminum. What hope does that offer?
I think that's extremely important to the pork complex. Mexico is a very large consumer of ours in buying pork products, and certainly ham sales have been lagging this year because of the tariff that's been placed on pork products into Mexico. So I believe not only is that a plus from the export side of things, but, to enhance the demand to Mexico, but Mexico is extremely important to pork.
And this, hopefully, as we start the week, we'll have some more news. So the market will be very interested in the weather forecast. And going back to those farmers, we also, here this past week, heard that those second round of mitigation payments will be coming in, and we're still considering some changes. And I know that just adds to perhaps some of their thoughts about what they're going to plant ultimately this year. What do you make of all of that, Tony?
Everybody is in a unique position. I mean, we've been talking about prevented plant this week, but part of that prevented plant decision probably hinges on what the government unveils as far as a payment program. Everyone is trying to look at their own individual situation and make determinations on what they should be doing and what they should be tackling first as the weather allows that to happen. The market certainly is watching as this progress is made or not made in particular. And, the funds have been lifting their short position in the corn market, which has made the corn market go up 40 cents since Monday morning. And so this is a really important time, and it's a great time for producers to be thinking through what they need to be doing from the marketing standpoint as well.
We always ask you for sort of a summary, a take-home, but now with everything added up, how do we go through the next week?
Boy, that's a great question, and it is a commodity-by-commodity decision on everything right now, seeing how beans ended down so hard on Friday, but corn hung in there and stayed on the plus side. The market opening on Sunday night is likely to be volatile. It's hard to say where we land at. It will really depend on what type of rains that come through, and what that expected forecast is. So I think it's really important time for producers to make sure if they have working orders setting out there, they're comfortable with that. They're making their decisions on prevented plant based off of the limited knowledge we have going forward today. But, it's a busy time for everyone, and certainly it's a critical time from the marketing standpoint.
Tony Dunker, Advanced Trading, Quincy. DeLoss is back with the Corner Economist. This is RFD Illinois.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected. The Illinois economy runs on our homegrown agricultural products. Our dairy, beef, pork, corn, and soybeans grow the agricultural industry by nearly $20 billion each year. But we don't just grow Illinois, we grow North America. Canada and Mexico account for over $45 billion in U.S. agricultural exports, and they support more than 1 million American jobs. Exports to Canada and Mexico matter to everyone in the agriculture and food industries.
A message from Illinois farmers and their checkoff programs.
At Country Financial, we know the right crop hail insurance can help you feel secure no matter what kind of weather. Our Grain Guard crop hail insurance can help protect your crops from risks like hail, lightning, fire, and more. This exceptional protection, combined with personalized attention from a local crop-certified rep, is why we're the #1 crop hail insurer in Illinois, and our experts are here to help you succeed. Learn more at countrycrop.com. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. This entity is an equal opportunity provider.
Welcome back to RFD Illinois on a Monday. I'm DeLoss Yonke with the corner economist, Mike Doherty, senior economist at Illinois Farm Bureau. Hello, Mike.
Hey, DeLoss.
So what do you got for me?
By the way, I do that every time, and for those that haven't been around since I last explained it, that's Al Pacino from the movie Heat talking to a guy who's going to give him some information. He says, "So what do you got for me?" So grammatically poor, but in this case, we give him in. We ask Mike, "What do you got for him?"
There was I remember from a Chicago politician. We love Chicago, by the way.
Oh,
you know,
gosh,
we love it.
yes. Oh.
And one of them said, "You better know somebody that I know."
You better know.
If you're in my office, you better know somebody I know.
That's a great quote.
Anyway,
that's fantastic.
That's kind of old pile.
All right, now first thing that I noticed Friday. It's one thing if this happens in a quarter, but Deere & Company, 6 quarters in a row has missed based on what analysts had been expecting their earnings call to be.
So, farm economy is definitely weakening, and the outlook on farm equipment cannot be good.
Well, even as a global company, how do you project how much do you make and how much are you able to sell?
Yeah, because I think about half their sales are internationally sales, and so those have been, that area's been weakening a little bit, and at least in China and some of those countries a little bit, and European Union too,
Yeah, so that was a noticeable statistic I saw through Twitter Friday. And then here's another one, and this includes Illinois. In some ways, it makes sense to me that this is a more Western study, though, but Creighton comes out with some regular reports.
Right. Ernie Goss has done this for a long time, a very well-respected economist at Creighton University, and he has a rural Main Street survey. It comes out monthly, and it's of rural banks. So this is particularly important for like downstate Illinois, our rural counties, our farm counties are very interested. What is the outlook that rural banks in general in the Midwest are feeling? And it showed his index for the rural banks' estimation of their confidence of the economy has dropped below 50, which means they are looking at a shrinking economy rather than an expanding economy. If it's above 50, then the economy is expanding. If it's below 50, it's shrinking. Yes.
So in April, it was right at 50. So that's right. That's right in the middle.
So that would mean the negatives the negatives are equal to the positives if it's at 50. If it's below 50, then the negatives are outweighing the positives. And it was reported that's the lowest level in 2 years. So that's a pretty severe turnaround on the part of our rural banks.
A couple of things that were in here. Farmland prices, they went down 4 points from April to May, and they were down 1 point from May to May. And in either case, so May, this last week's report, 41.2. And that's 18% less than 50. Well, that doesn't sound like a very positive thing.
Well, land prices, at least in Illinois, throughout the Midwest, they haven't gone down that much. They softened just slightly in Illinois, but the outlook as of last February, March on farmland prices and on its income generating capacity, which is basically cash rent for Illinois, it all hinged around soybean prices. And so at that time, if you go back to the presentations that were done here in Bloomington at the Land Values Conference Outlook, if soybean prices were $8.50 or below for the fall, then about 80% of the members of the Illinois chapter of the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers, about 80% of them felt that cash rent had to come down between $10 to $30 per acre decline in cash rent, and which would take down the value of farmland, of course, too, because that's part of that is what underpins the value of farmland is what you can rent it out for. So that all hinged around that soybean price. That is what is the soybean price is what has kept our farmland values as high as they are, $10,000 an acre and up in Illinois. And likewise, with soybean prices now falling, that outlook has to fall in terms of cash rents, but along with it, also the value of farmland.
And so this can also go back to what we were talking about with deer. Farm equipment sales, May 2018, the index was almost 44. May 2019, it was 31.3.
Another big drop.
28.5% year-over-year drop.
28%. You know, this Rain Man thing of yours.
No, this was on the screen.
Okay.
That one was on the screen.
You did not compute that on the fly?
There was one I did before I did on the fly, but that one was not on the fly.
I feel better already.
Yeah. But then at the same time, savings was better. Loan volume was pretty good. Hiring was pretty good. Retail business, though, continued to decline in confidence.
Retail has really taken a hit lately, and you said loan volume. Yeah, well, loan volume is up, but the repayment is decreasing, maintaining their repayment schedules.
Yeah. But as long as the cost of money stays where it stays,
correct,
then that we think would be overall good for loan volume.
Correct. So all of this is always underpinned, or the foundation is what's happening to interest rates. Well, they haven't changed very much here. So because the Fed backed off their interest rate increases. So in a way, we're getting a clear picture of the real market, because with no changes in interest rates, then it's any change, it has to do with some other variable than interest rates.
Mike Doherty at Illinois Farm Bureau. We'll have some really interesting discussions later in the week. I'll be at U.S. Meat Export Federation's spring conference in Kansas City, between recent news with USMCA as well as with Japan opening markets even more for U.S. beef. Plus, China talk should be quite interesting. But right now, we'll break for markets and weather.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Monday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans double-digit lower, and wheat ending Friday slightly lower. July corn closing at 383 1/4, up 4 1/4. September corn up 3 1/2, 390 1/2, and December corn 398 1/4, up 1 3/4. July beans ending Friday 821 3/4, down 18. August beans down 18 1/4, 828 1/4. And September beans 834 3/4, down 17 3/4. July wheat closing Friday 465, down 2. September wheat down 2 1/4, 471 1/4, and December wheat down 2, 484 1/4. July bean meal 294.30, that's down 7.60. July bean oil 27.22, down $0.50. In current electronic overnight trading, July corn up 5 1/4, September corn up a nickel, and December corn up 4 1/2. 402 3/4. July beans in the overnight up 7. August beans up 8, and September beans 842 1/2, up 7 3/4. July wheat in the overnight up 8. September wheat up 8, and December wheat up 7 3/4. 492. July Brent crude oil 72.71. That's down 41 cents. The June gold contract 12.7440. Down 130 this morning. In the livestock market from Friday, June lean hogs 92.37, up 15 cents. July lean hogs up 60 cents, $93 even. June live cattle 111.27, up 80 cents. August live cattle up 97 cents, 108.92. May feeders 134.52, up 30 cents. August feeder cattle 145.50, up 217. Cash livestock at Walnut Livestock Auction last week. Steers 119.75 the top. Illinois direct barrels and gilts trading steady on Friday at 52 to 58. And I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather with the early morning ag weather update on the RFD Radio Network for this Monday morning. The weather system that was stalled late last week across the northern and western Midwest produced some additional rain in these areas Friday into Saturday. This system then worked its way eastward, producing some showers and thunderstorms over a large part of the region during the past 24 to 36 hours. Temperatures were well above normal on Saturday across much of Illinois, with highs in the 70s and 80s. Some cooler air has been pushing eastward and southeastward behind this latest weather system over the past 24 hours. A mostly dry, cooler day is expected across Illinois today, with highs in the upper 50s and 60s over the northern half of the state, 60s and low 70s in the south. An active weather pattern is expected across the Midwest this week, though, as additional showers and thunderstorms return to Illinois tomorrow into Wednesday, and another system brings some rain later in the week after just a brief dry period expected late Wednesday into early Thursday. 5-day rainfall amounts across much of Illinois will be in the 1/2 to 2 inch range. It does look like heaviest rains this week will be in the western part of the Midwest, with lightest amounts in the eastern areas. Temperatures will warm again across the region mid to late this week as warmer Gulf air moves northward into the Midwest, bringing higher dew points and pushing temperatures back into the 70s and 80s across the region by Thursday and Friday. Looking ahead into the weekend and next week, it does look like this active weather pattern will continue across quite a bit of the Midwest. 6 to 10-day rainfall should average near to above normal across much of the region, although parts of the Ohio Valley could see below normal 6 to 10-day rainfall. 6 to 10-day temperatures will be below normal to the north and west of Illinois and will tend to average quite a bit warmer with above normal readings farther southeast. I'm Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather.
Warmer weather means a longer honey-do list. Your county farm bureau can help you stay on top of your project list and save you money along the way. A Farm Bureau membership offer includes discounts on equipment and supplies from Grainger, plus free shipping on all standard Grainger products. Browse thousands of items from landscaping equipment to power tools. Anything you need to get the job done, Grainger has it. Not a Farm Bureau member? Call us at 309-557-2689. Or visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
If you're in the mood for some sprucing up, you're in luck. From big to small or farm to front yard, your Illinois Farm Bureau member discount from John Deere is ready and waiting to help. It's easy to think green when it's the Rewards Loyalty Program with savings on equipment, special parts, and home and workshop products. Whether your tasks involve mowing, planting, or cleaning, you'll be set for whatever your work requires. All you need to do is sign up, have your membership number handy, and go to johndeere.com/Farm Bureau.
All ag.
All Illinois.
All now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Dina Stroish connects rural routes for you. From the Farm Bill to crop insurance to GMO labeling, her expertise is apparent in the stories she reports. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I get to meet interesting people and share their stories, and I get paid to do it. I cover ag policy and really enjoy keeping the farming community updated on these important issues.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
That's all the time we have for RFD Illinois on a Monday.
Let's salute a community.
Well, here's a little follow-up. So last week, while you were gone, I saluted Bluff City in Fayette County. And then I got a call from Roy over, who listens to us in WLDS